everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Today I am sharing part one of April 2020 on my Project Life album. And this time I'm using lots of scraps from a 12 by 12, no, sorry, a 6 by 6 paper pad. I do not off the top of my head remember the paper pad, but if you guys are curious, let me know and I should be able to find it in my stash down in my craft room and I can leave that information for you. Just leave me a comment below. But basically what I did was I just cut out either a 3 by 4 or 4 by 6 cards, and then I had scraps that were in that 6 by 6 pad that I cut down or just used as is to top some of the cards that I cut out. So you can see there the one that I'm putting the frame on, that was a scrap of that blue navy paper. And then the one that I just am messing with right now, that also was a little piece of scrap that I just added on. The one where I put the Enjoy banner, that was just a little piece of the branding strip that I put at the top of that 3 by 4 card. So you can see just using up all the little bits and pieces. I hate having or throwing those kinds of things away. So I definitely love that this project has the smaller format cards and things, and you can use those little pieces pretty easily on these cards. So you can see I took some of those Pink Fresh frames and put those around the different photos, and on that bottom right hand one there's a little picture of a garter snake and I wanted to highlight him, so I put that on the photo so you can see his little face because it was a little bit hard to see with the mulch. Now I'm working with one of these brads. I've had these brads in my stash for quite some time and I wanted to add a little bit of dimension to this layout, so I'm taking them and adding that one flower one, and then I'm going to pull one more that looks kind of like a, I don't know what they're called, like a banner or a ribbon, and I'm going to put that on the picture of my daughter, the black and white picture of my daughter. And these are from Dear Lizzie. I think I got them from Tuesday Morning, one of my favorite places to go scrapbook shopping. Most of the ones that were in my area have closed. I think I've mentioned that in some videos before, so I was super bummed about that, but I do have quite a bit of things that I have purchased from them before they did close, and I love using them in my pages. So I'm just poking a hole with my Tim Holtz pokey tool here and I'm going to add that brad in. You can also use like really tiny hole punch to add those in as well. It just kind of depends on what you're trying to go through as far as like paper, photo paper, chipboard, that type of thing. So I think those are the only two that I'm going to use, and then I'm going to start working on some of the other parts of this layout. So I'm just going to glue this little piece of paper down here. Later on I'll come back to this piece of paper and I'm going to add a little chipboard element, but I'm going to move around the page right now. These are some Teresa Collins labels that I got, I believe, either from Michael's or Joann's, and I'm going to use a couple of these on the layout. This one I'm just going to write Easter eggs, I think, Easter eggs, and I'm going to put that banner on the picture of my daughter with holding up the little eggs. And then I'm going to end up pulling out one more, but I don't think I'm going to do that right now. Kind of looking to see what I want to put on, but I think I'm going to come back to that sheet. Now I'm going to spell out FaceTime on the picture of me with my mom in the background on the screen, because while we were doing the Easter eggs this year, we did FaceTime with my parents. So I'm just writing that out with these mini market stickers from October Afternoon. I have quite a few of those in my stash. I think when they were going out of business, or maybe when Archivers was going out of business, I grabbed a bunch of those, and so I've had those in my stash for a long time because Archivers has been out of business for quite some time now. I'm just taking the backing off of these chipboard pieces and start layering down them onto my cards. And I kind of use these as an anchoring point for other parts of the embellishments that I'm going to put down. So like I said, this picture here with little garter snake, I am going to just use that to highlight the photo, but the other two places where I put down the frames, I'm going to add some extra embellishments around that. It's just going to be like that anchor to anchor those different pieces. So I'm going to use that floral piece and that note to self chipboard piece. These are Project Life chipboard pieces. I'm just going to add that flower here to the frame at the top left card, and I have extra pieces of the frame that were scrap or trash, and I'm going to use those to kind of pop up this flower. The frame and the flower are both chipboard, so it doesn't lay very flat. So I need to put something behind those pieces of the flower that are not touching the frame, and I'm just going to use those scraps of chipboard frame that I have. So once you punch out the frames, there is some extra left over, and I thought that'd be perfect because it's obviously the same thickness as the pink frame that I have, so it works perfectly for this. Another way to use up your stuff without throwing it away. So you can see here, I'm just trying to measure a little bit so that I can put it on either side of the pink frame so that everything sticks nicely down and then it's not wobbly. And I think I'm going to come back in a little bit and then add some liquid glue if I don't do that right now. Still using a couple more pieces. I thought it needed to be popped up just a bit more. I thought it was still kind of too wobbly with just the couple pieces that I had put there before. So I'll pull off the backing because it is sticky backing, and then I will, I believe, add some additional liquid adhesive. Oh, and this little piece fell apart because it was a little scrap, so I used liquid adhesive just to put that back together. So now I got the backing off, I will add liquid adhesive and then I will put everything back down, and then everything lays flat now so it's not all wobbly. And I really like how this card turned out. I like the different layers and dimension on this card. So now I'm going to move on. That note to self, I am going to pull up that little frame. I want to put the note to self down. I thought I was going to still use that frame, but then I'm actually going to put it back on my sticker sheet and decide to use it for something else later on. So I'm going to use it note to self, and then I'm going to actually pull out some other pieces on this sheet as well. This is where I'm going to pull the tab out and put it on that 3x4 card. I just have to move the little piece of paper down a bit so that everything kind of fits on it. It was a little too close to the top of the card. And the nice thing about the adhesive that I'm using, it lets you kind of move it around a little bit before it gets permanently stuck down too much. Adding a little heart by the FaceTime. I'm going to pull out some other things from my stash. Like I said, I'm going to add another embellishment to that note to self chipboard piece. I still have some more pieces from this Project Life sticker sheet that I'm going to use. I like the little paper clips, so I'm going to add those. And really no good reason, just I thought that would look cute there. It doesn't really go with anything per se, but you can see there that my dogs are laying in that top right photo watching me work, so I thought it would look cute there. Adding a little chipboard word piece, April for the month that we're working on, and some other little pieces. This little strip says you and me. I have a picture of my daughter with a little Snapchat Easter filter on. Now I'm going to pull out another one of those labels like I was mentioning before to add one more layer here, and it's about grocery shopping. So I'm just going to add that to the picture of me with my mask on. This is a mask that my mom made me. This is right at the beginning of quarantine, so this is probably the first time I went grocery shopping since we had to start wearing masks, so I wanted to document that. Adding a little chipboard heart. I thought that little piece there with the pink spot needed a little extra something, and that blue chipboard looked nice with some of the colors that I'm using in the layout. Here is where I add another embellishment to this note to self card. I wanted to add some kind of spring colors because we are getting into spring with it being April. So I'm going to pull a piece or a sticker off this sheet that has the little, I think they're like hyacinth or something like that. And then I'm just going to tuck that on the right hand side of that note to self, and I think it just adds a little extra shimmer because it's got sparkle on that sticker, and I like how that looks. And I'll just add a little piece of something behind it so that it pops it up because it is a flat sticker, and that note to self is a dimensional chipboard piece. I'm just going to tuck that in. And then I'm pretty much done. So I'm just showing you what the cards look like all done. I will do my journaling later on, and I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.